Adrian Peterson had a quote saying that Johnny Manziel helped make Texas A&M so much money. You're talking about championship games that he was able to lead these guys to. You're talking about jersey sales that he did not see a dime of. I feel like as much money as universities make, some of that should go down to the ones actually making them this money. Due to the massive revenue created by college sporting events and the demanding schedule, collegiate athletes should be compromised for their efforts in order to increase the percentage of finished degrees and be more fair to the athletes. The Duke Political Review explained one popular argument for against paying collegiate athletes. This is that they are not demanded to go play at the NCAA level, and if they are not happy with a simple scholarship, then they should not come play for the NCAA. This is not valid in my opinion, because if they want to play at the professional level, they either have to have a leap year after high school or go play in the NCAA. Now we'll show you a clip from CNN explaining how this is a controversial issue today.
A federal judge will decide this summer if college athletes can be paid with a cut of the multi-million-dollar television contracts in collegiate sports. But there's another lawsuit looming, one that could make college sports look a lot more like the pros.
They are pros who work without pay, and that's not fair, it's not right.
Jeffrey Kessler is the sports attorney who helped negotiate a free market for NFL and NBA players. Now he's representing these four athletes in a class action lawsuit against the 5 power conferences and the NCAA. Their antitrust lawsuit, filed this spring, seeks to give schools the option to pay athletes with salaries, not just with scholarships. The NCAA says a free education, that's payment enough.
Many of these athletes do not get their degree or graduate.
The Duke Political Review also explained, economically, the NCAA is a monopoly. This means that there is only one buyer and unlimited sellers. In terms of the NCAA, this is that there is, for all these athletes, there's only one place that they can play collegiate sports, and that is the NCAA. So they are able to control the entire market and force all these athletes to follow these unfair regulations. Now, according to KQED Learning, collegiate athletes are considered amateurs and are forbidden from receiving any marketing compensation. The NCAA explains that amateurs cannot have contracts with professional teams, receive salary for participating in athletics, accept prize money above actual and necessary expenses, try out, practice, and compete with professional teams, or be represented by an agent. The Santa Clara Law states that in 1906, Theodore Roosevelt created the NCAA in order to introduce stricter and more safe rules in collegiate athletics. Later in the 1950s, scholarships for these athletes were introduced. The NCAA claims that scholarships are more than enough to cover tuition and living expenses. On the other hand, scholarships do not cover keeping the refrigerator stocked or buying shampoo in order to shower, so these athletes are required to make these ends meet on their own. KQED Learning also explained that practicing up to 60 hours a week, playing in sports events during the week, and still finding time for homework does not leave much time for a job in order to make these ends meet, not covered by the scholarship. With so much stress in a daily lifestyle for student athletes, they have to be careful not to become burnt out. Corey Floyd explains in Communication Matters that the first step to preventing burning out is to clarify what is important in life. Next, you must create borders between work, in the case for these student athletes is sports, and your daily life. If that is not enough, then you have to find additional help from people in order to take some of the stress off your life. Santa Clara Law also reported that the problem is that colleges profit from the athletic ability with celebrity status and not giving any of this profit to the athletes themselves. The Big Ten even makes $1 billion in a 10-year deal with ESPN and ABC, along with a $72 million deal with CBS for basketball. KQED Learning also explains that college basketball programs make billions each year off of marketing, broadcasting contracts, tickets, and merchandising during the national tournament alone. They additionally stated that colleges do have regulations and consequences against athletes who try to get a piece of the profit that the school gets from their ability. Suspensions are given to athletes who do indeed try to get a bit of this profit, such as Todd Gurley's 4-game suspension and Johnny Manziel's half-game suspension for making a profit off their own autographs. Santa Clara law also added that one reason for necessary compensation for athletes is that there always is a possibility for injury. In the workplace, injuries that happen during a workday related to their work are covered by the company, and this is how college athletics should be. This is a serious issue because many of these sports injuries can last decades after you stop playing collegiate sports, and this is not covered by the college. Another reason they give was that student inventors at a university are compensated for the profits that their inventions create, and I believe that this is how college athletics should be. One last reason is there has always been cases of athletes who leave college early because they couldn't afford to stay and finish their degree without receiving assistance, and leave to sign professional contracts, such as former Auburn running back Peyton Barber. Now, a couple of potential ideas, according to the NPR, for how collegiate athletics can be compensated are to first offer a scholarship which covers living expenses and tuition, and then compensate for potential injuries based upon how potentially dangerous your sport is. Another idea is to give a scholarship which covers living expenses and tuition, and then allow the individually players to sign contracts with companies for the sale of their memorabilia. The Duke Political Review also had the best idea in my mind for how athletes should be compensated. Athletes should receive the scholarship, which covers living expenses and tuition, and then should be giving a salary cap based upon how that sports revenue is dispersed throughout the team, with a minimum and maximum contract that each player can receive based upon academic and athletic performance. In conclusion, college athletics should receive compensation due to the massive revenue created by sporting events that rely on the athletes themselves in order to increase the percentage of finished degrees and be more fair to the athletes. This could be the difference between somebody finishing their degree or not. Like Jadeveon Clowney said, yes, having to take care of my family, it would have made a difference if I had gotten paid. If I would have gotten a chance to take care of my family at college, I probably would have stayed. So remember that the next time you are arguing with somebody about whether student athletes should be paid, it really can make a difference.